Hello guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to do a classics book haul. I have been accumulating books for months. Some of these books I have mentioned in my vlogs, some of them I have already read, and some of them I'm currently reading, so it's going to be a different sort of book haul. Excuse my voice because I have the flu. I never get time to film. I'm so busy at the moment because of my house job in medicine. But I do not want to give up on this channel and I'm going to keep filming for you guys. So without further ado, let's just start with the video. So I'm going to start with the last two books I bought, which were from Liberty Books. So the first book which I got from Liberty Books was The American by Henry James. I've already read The Europeans by Henry James. Henry James is famous for exploring differences between Europeans and Americans.
Christopher, who is a self-made American millionaire in France, and he falls in love with an aristocratic girl. Her family, however, is taken aback by his American manners and rejects his proposal.
I am currently reading The Portrait of a Lady, and we also see some clashes between Americans and Europeans in that book. I have been looking for this edition of The American for a while, and finally I have it. And the second book which I got from Liberty Books was The Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer. I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. This one is so heavy. I've heard people talk about The Canterbury Tales, but I have no idea what it's about. But I know it's a classic, and oh my god, it's in the form of a poem.
It's a work of genius, and it is an undisputed classic that has held a special appeal for each generation of readers, and it gathers 29 characters in a vivid group portrait that captures the full spectrum of medieval society. Okay, so it's from the medieval times. I did not know that.
I love this edition, by the way. It's so cute. And it's like written in this format, so I think it's like a huge poem. I'm excited to read it because I feel like I'm reading similar kind of books. They are all fictional, classic or Victorian novels and with pretty much similar themes, and I think this is going to be different because it is about the medieval times, which I've never read anything about, to be honest.
Geoffrey Chaucer, circa 1343 to 1400s, was an English author, poet, philosopher, bureaucrat, courtier, and diplomat. This book is old.
I hope I'm able to understand this English because I've never read something like this before. The next book which I want to talk about is Can You Forgive Her by Anthony Trollope. And can we just admire this painting? It is so pretty. I love the cover. It is by Sven Richard Berg. It's such a floppy edition as well, and I just love these black spines. Even though they're expensive, I just had to buy it in this one because I just loved the cover. As you guys already know, I loved The Way We Live Now by Anthony Trollope, and I want to start the Barsetshire Chronicle. I do not have a copy of The Warden, which I need to buy so that I can start the series, but I saw this book, which is the first edition of another series by Anthony Trollope, which is the Palliser series, and I decided to buy it because it was so pretty and so floppy and so cute.
Cousin George, or the upright and gentlemanly John Grey, and finds herself accepting and rejecting each of them in turn. Increasingly confused about her own feelings and unable to forgive herself for such blah blah blah, she's forced to marry a politician.
I enjoy Anthony Trollope's writing. It is very can I use the word fluffy? It is very light. It's not very thought-provoking. It is just something you can listen to and enjoy and not get worried about. This book is 847 pages long, and this is the first book in the series. How many books are there?
Let me just check because I do not do research before I film videos. 6 books.
So this series has 6 books. I'm going to read the first one and we'll see how it goes from there. Mary, The Wrongs of Women was written by Mary Wollstonecraft, and she was an 18th century British writer, philosopher and feminist, and she's the mother of Mary Shelley, the author of Frankenstein. So that's interesting that Mary Shelley's mother was a feminist and she wrote books about the wrongs done to women.
I'm not even sure whether this is fiction or non-fiction. It seems like fiction. I just love this girl. She's so pretty.
Next book which I got, and I might have mentioned in one of my vlogs, was East Lynne by Ellen Wood. And this book is also a Victorian classic. And this book is about an aristocratic lady, Isabel, who abandons her husband and children and for a seducer. Ange from Beyond the Pages has given it 5 stars on Goodreads, and she recommended it for October, so that's why I bought this book. I haven't been able to read it yet. It is a long book. It is almost 650 pages long. I'm excited to read it because it feels like this book is going to have a lot of drama. David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. I got this in the vintage Red Spine edition, and it has such a bleak looking cover. It is one of those floppy editions. David Copperfield is said to be autobiographical novel. It is about this guy called David Copperfield and his life from childhood to, I think, when he finally dies. I'm not sure, but it's 870 pages long. It's a long book.
David Copperfield escapes from cruelty of his childhood. He embarks on a journey to adulthood, which will lead him through comedy, tragedy, love, heartbreak, friendship, betrayal. And over the course of his adventures, David meets an array of eccentric, different characters basically, and learns life lessons.
So it's like an autobiography, like about this guy from the start to the finish. So I'm excited to read it. The next book which I got was The Portrait of a Lady by Henry James in the Penguin English Library edition. I'm currently reading The Portrait of a Lady, and I'm just left with 100 pages, I think. And I don't like it a lot. It is very superficial.
Many characters in it, and it was a short book. It was just like 150 pages long, so you didn't get bored. But this one is like 650 pages long, and it is about this girl, Isabel Archer. She's beautiful, she's rich, and people are proposing to her, and she doesn't want to accept anyone. And then she does accept one guy, and then it's just, I'm sick of it already. I want to know something more, and it's just about Isabel Archer and her life and what happens around it.
If the last 100 pages do change my mind about this book, I will let you guys know. But so far, I am just trying to finish it. I'm not having a lot of fun. The next book which I want to talk about is A Young Doctor's Notebook by Michael Bulgakov. I have already read this book. I've already made a review about this book. I love it. It's a collection of short stories about this young doctor who is sent to a rural village in Russia, and he is alone there, and he has all these experiences, and I just love this book. It was one of the best books I read this year. And the next book which I got was Orley Farm by Anthony Trollope. I had completely forgotten I bought this book. I have so many Anthony Trollope books on my shelves. I need to just pick one. Trollope singled out Orley Farm for its successful combination of realistic and sensational effects. So that's great because I love realistic books.
If Trollope thinks it is both realistic and sensational, then I think it's going to be good. And he felt it to be the highest achievement of himself as a novelist. It was greatly admired by George Eliot.
I love George Eliot.
And it centers on a case of forgery and the anguish, guilt, and pathos of the central character, Lady Mason. Okay, I think I'm going to read this book next.
After I finish A Portrait of a Lady, I'm going to pick this one because this sounds amazing. It is 420 pages long, and it is in the Oxford World's Classics edition. So these were all the classics which I bought in the last couple of months. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video if you haven't done so already. I'm going to see you all in my next video very soon. Bye.